I'm McAra here, and welcome to Now It's My Turn, where the 50-plus woman awakens her spark and enjoys her life. We're here every Friday afternoon on YouTube and coming to you from the greater Philadelphia area. So get your pen and paper, get ready to make some notes. I always encourage notes, and notify your friends that we're here. We've got a really great broadcast for you today. I'm excited about our guest today. Our purpose each week is to open the door for the 50-plus woman to live a life she absolutely loves. Today's woman over 50 is vibrant, alive, filled with passion, purpose, and she's a powerful force for good in the world. And we are here to unleash that power by breaking through social programming. We're not half done. We're just getting started. Where each woman can say, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn to do what I want, what I'm passionate about, to fulfill my life according to my own desires and expectations. And that involves asking two questions. First of all, who am I? Who am I now in this space? Who am I in this place in my life? Now that the roles are finished or almost finished, kids are grown, careers coming down to retirement, and all those things are seeing completion, and we have more time, and we have experience, we have ideas, we have a lot to share, and we have energy to share it. So who am I in this space? And the second question is, what do I want? What do I really want? Because I find that a lot of times women, we push our own desires and wants aside in favor of what everybody else needs and wants. And so when we get to this place, asking that question, and it sometimes takes some thought, because I know a lot of women who've never really considered it before. What do I want my life to be? And until you answer that question, you really just kind of wander around, don't you? So let's settle in, get your pen and paper. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And welcome aboard. I'm going to go into our meditation, our heart space meditation. And people are telling me that they tune in here just for the meditation. So it's very powerful. Okay, so let's go ahead and settle in wherever you are. Just settle into your chair. Feel your body. Wherever you're lying down, sitting down. Take a breath, nice deep breath, settle in. Breathing in calm. Breathing out stress. Breathing in peace. Breathing out all the cares and all the thoughts. And just let yourself come into calm, focused right now. Calm and focus. Just for these few minutes. And now focus on your heart. And feel your heart fill with love. Feel the love in your heart. Just fill, swell. Let your heart fill up with love. Oh, it feels so warm. It feels so good. Your body actually has a calming effect from it. Just let your heart fill with love. And then let the love in your heart fill your whole chest. Just let it spread out. Fill with love. And then let that love just go from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet, out to the ends of your fingers. Fill your body up. Fill your body up with this warm, wonderful, loving feeling. That's right. You can feel it just filling you up, filling you up. Wow, I'm starting to feel calmer already. Now just take a breath and let your heart, that heart-loving space, let it fill the room from ceiling to floor, wall to wall. Fill the air in the room, the atmosphere, just fill it up with love until the entire room is just full of love. You can feel it warm and comforting. And another breath, and fill the whole building with love, just from the ceiling, the roof, all the way down to the basement, side to side. Just fill the whole house, apartment building, hotel, wherever you are. Just fill all of it with love. That's right. And now another breath, and let your loving energy just go out over the entire region where you are. Think of the city or the town, the area, and just imagine your love just going out over the housing developments and the medical facilities and the schools and all through the retail shops. Yeah. You know, the Heart Math Institute tells us that this is really a true vibration. They've measured it. A lot of times when we do these meditations and things on the show, I ask you to do some imagination games, but this is not imagination. As you just push your love energy out over the region, it actually goes out. And studies have been done that it has a positive effect. Crime rates go down. Immune systems are strengthened. This not only helps us, it helps others around us. And you know, I just want to take a moment to say this. When people tell us it's more important to be than to do, this is what they're talking about. This emanation of your love is very powerful to affect positive change all around you. This is the being part, and it's beautiful because it fills us up too. And now let your loving energy go across the entire continent, from ocean to ocean, all the way across North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. Flood the continent with love. And as we do this, my heart energy crosses your heart energy, and we connect in this loving space, and we help each other and we amplify each other, and the healing for one becomes a healing for all, and we're better together than we are alone. And no matter what time you're watching, we're all in the now, and you're connecting with us as we're here, and we are healing each other and healing the continent as we do this together. So powerful. And now, one more breath, and let your loving energy go all the way around the globe, back to where you are, covering the earth with this beautiful loving energy. We need this so much on the planet right now. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining in. This is the work that we need to do. It helps us all. So thank you for lending your energy, your loving energy, to us and to everyone watching. Okay, let's go ahead and get our guest in here. I'm excited today. Hey, it's so good to see you. Hi, Pat.
Hey there, it's good to see you.
Pat Honiotes, MS, is an internationally renowned kick-butt mentor, educator, Reiki Master Teacher, healer, and author. Formerly a special education teacher, Pat has a master's degree in counseling psychology and is a board-certified hypnoanalyst. Wow! In addition to her private practice, Pat is currently business manager, lead coach, and director of education for JVD Worldwide. Since 1980, Pat has helped clients take ownership of their lives through private sessions, seminars, workshops, and classes. Her down-to-earth honesty and non-judgmental outlook create an environment primed for learning. Welcome, yes. Pat.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love this discussion because a lot of times I can't have that talk with people because they don't get it. But it does put it out there to the world, you know, what you do and what I do. And I think that's really important.
You know, what I love is when we're doing that deep work, for me at least, and I don't know if this is your experience, when we're using the hypnosis with that, it goes even deeper.
Oh, yeah.
Longer than any traditional work that I've ever been taught.
Yes, absolutely. Instead of having to go back over and over and over, you can resolve it, get it done, clear and go on to the next thing. It's not one and done. People say, oh, you mean one and done? No, I mean one thing is done, but there's a lot of things.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So this is really phenomenal. I love this because it helps us to have a better conversation today. You do a lot of work around boundaries. And so what would you say would be a correlation between this type of healing work relating to boundaries?
The reason people have such an odd or, disconnected relationship with boundaries is because of some deep stuff that's going on. Usually it's stuff that they're not even aware of. Okay? And so if I can help them get back to where all this stuff started, where they quit saying no, where they didn't stick up for themselves, and if I can do it with this kind of modality, it goes faster. And then, that's like pre-setting boundaries. And then once having dealt with that, then we can go into the steps of here's how you set a boundary, here's how you honor them. And that is a place where I may use some suggestions or have them use some suggestions just to keep them on the right track.
Yes, yes. Also the idea that you set a picture of what your life is going to be like now, so they can picture it, and it helps to anchor that
Yes.
piece in. Yeah, yeah. My boundary issue started with my mother, and I had such a hard time setting boundaries with her, much less other people, because she was the root,
Right.
So to be able to set a picture of that, and then when it happened, it didn't feel so foreign.
Right. And the other thing I found that if we can have some understanding, it makes it easier to take steps. I'm clear that intellectual understanding doesn't necessarily change your behavior, but what it does do is it gives you permission to, I guess, have it be okay. There's a reason why I couldn't do it. And now that I know what that is, I can move beyond it.
Oh, I love that. It's not that I'm bad or weak or broken. Yeah.
We drop judgment on ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that's what ends up kicking our behinds. Okay.
The judgment, right.
Yeah. Oh, I should have set that boundary. I'm such a loser, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ceases to happen when you can get that. Wait a minute, I was conditioned to that.
Conditioning, beautifully said. Yes. We can't help it. We were little kids.
Exactly.
What are you going to blame yourself as a 2-year-old for what you learned, or what you saw?
Well, and here's the other thing is, 2, 3, 4, 5, even up and we had to, if that was how we grew up, we had to accept that for our survival.
Yeah.
That way it was a survival mechanism for us. We were dependent on all of these people for everything.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Our world was made of that.
So if we can get that it's survival, that's what's helped a lot of people that I've worked with is, oh, well, no wonder. I was with basic survival I was going for there.
Right, right. So give us a little background on how you got into this work. What did you always want to do it, or did something happen?
I will tell you, it's a journey. It doesn't even make any sense to me. It was just kind of fun. I had a sister that was severely mentally retarded. Now I know that's not the socially acceptable term today, but it was, 70 years ago, and that's what we lived with. And so I started teaching at 12 years old, because they couldn't find a teacher to work with the kids at the YMCA. So I started that. And as I continued in that, I went ahead and got my degree in secondary special ed, started teaching at an inner city school. It was the first year I was there. It was the first year they had a program in the real school or the public school, and it was a matter of integrating it. And what I found working in that situation was the other teachers did not want anything to do with them, but even more importantly, when our kids ran into a snag, the school counselors wouldn't work with them.
Wow.
And this was like 1970, right? And so my whole goal was to go and get a degree in counseling so that I could support our kids.
Mm-hmm.
While I was doing that, I also got introduced to this field of medical hypnoanalysis.
Oh, wow.
And so it kind of all, so it was from, a sister that needed a lot of help to, going to, it was actually a therapist I went to for some analysis. I just got so interested in it and it made so much sense. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a quick snapshot of how you go from here to here.
So the hypnoanalysis in the medical realm led you then into more going further with it, or is it the same thing you're doing now?
No, that was about a halfway point.
Okay.
I was actually married to a physician, so my world and his world, while we were married, were still very different. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't respond well to Western medicine. My body just doesn't like it. So the hypnosis helped with that, but it's also then where I got more into, the crystals, the oils, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And started working with the population that could handle that. And where that ties in with boundaries, Anna, is most of those folks didn't have boundaries.
Yeah.
They couldn't because they were thinking weird, or that stuff doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think you get the path there.
I do, absolutely. Yes, because I came up in that same era.
Okay.
I'm in my 60s, so I do understand, and I had an uncle who was mentally challenged, but he never went to school. Yeah. So yeah, in those days, it was a different world. It was a totally different world. And yeah.
We were expected to listen to boundaries, the patriarchal stuff.
Right? Yes. Yes.
I was married to a physician, and in 1970, all right, that was what you did. Not 70, it would have been a little bit later than that, but that was your role, and there were boundaries for that. I'm not going to tell you I always honored him so well. I was a bit of a renegade, but anyway.
Yeah. I got married in 1979. Okay. And I married a pastor, a very conservative Baptist pastor. So I totally get it.
You get it. You were the pastor's wife, and I was the doctor's wife. Yeah. But in the same breath, I got by with things because he was a doctor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he actually there was actually a lady that tried to talk him out of marrying me because I was so offbeat. But because he was a physician and a well-known, physician, I got to be on staff at the hospital as a medical hypnoanalyst. It was totally unheard of.
Wow, what a great opportunity.
Now, not many people used it. It was like 1980 or something.
Yeah.
The point is, it was a foot in the door.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm certified in medical hypnosis myself. That's one of I have 3 different certifications. But I went that route because my daughter had fibromyalgia and she was in so much pain. God, yeah. And she refused to take opioids. She wouldn't do anything, as she couldn't only take so much ibuprofen. And we knew it was going to hurt her stomach. And I stumbled across a video on YouTube, which is where we are right now. I never dreamed I would be doing this, So at the age of 56, I think, 57, I started my path to become a hypnotist, medical hypnotist, and on and on. And when I discovered, because I was scared, I was in the religious world and they had us so scared of mind control and all this stuff that isn't even true. Even family members now tell me that I'm working with the devil. I had my brother tell me that.
Yes. I actually had a client come into my office one day and say, my mom told me that I can't, and this was like a 40-year-old man, I can't come back here anymore because hypnosis is the work of the devil and it's in the Bible. The Bible says so.
So I can tell you right now it doesn't, because I read it.
So what I said to him was, I said, all right, I promise you something. If you bring me a Bible and show me in the Bible where it says that, I will stop this practice as of that moment. Well, needless to say, I didn't stop practice, but
It's not in there.
I'm clear. I've read it.
Yeah. So when I saw the results in my daughter and in myself, you know, I said, I have to do this. This is a calling for me. I didn't stumble into this. This is something that
Exactly. You were called.
yes, that I've been guided into. And so I'm just delighted to meet someone else who is in that realm, because I don't know anybody who is doing it.
And I will tell you, I used to do full-time medical hypnosis, and now it's like the spice that I use with some people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think you can use it anywhere.
You can.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I don't have any clients coming to me and say, I want medical hypnosis. It's just that in the process,
Yes.
stuff will come up and I know what to do, you know? So, yeah.
It's fun. I haven't been able to talk to anyone in a long time about this either.
And I did not know when you were scheduled to come in that this was going to be the gist of the connection that we have here, but it's fabulous. Wow.
I want to hear some of your stories sometime, because there's always stories. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Fun. It's fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And I think what keeps me going, because I am a full-time ghostwriter. That's how I earn a living. My practice is something I do in addition. It's my ancillary thing. It's not my full-time thing. But when I work with someone, 6 sessions, I very seldom go more than 6.
Yes.
The change in people's lives it's incredible. It's incredible. I had someone come and said, I don't want to live anymore because I have an eating disorder and I just can't stand it. I just can't stand living like this. And you know, the last session we had, she was glowing. She was happy. And, you know, there's just nothing you can do that will, you know, the money is like, what? Forget about the money. I mean, yes, we need to be paid, you know, a fair rate, but what would you give for that, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here's the other thing. I call it the gift that keeps on giving, because, and I imagine you do this too, is I actually teach my clients some techniques they can use when I'm not around.
Yes.
You know, the hypnosis, so they can keep using this 30 years later.
Right.
So it's like, I said, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And I know that sounds a little cheesy, but it's true.
It is. It's a life-changing thing. It is a life-changing thing. But by the same token, I've had people come because other people wanted them to come. They didn't want to come themselves.
Oh, get it. Yeah.
And they don't get anything out of it. And they come back and say, well, I don't feel any different. Well, you weren't engaged. You weren't ready for the healing. You were doing it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And it
there's boundaries come in again.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So this idea of boundaries, what brought you to focus on that piece in particular?
Here's the thing, Lana. It's really one pillar of a bigger program that I have. And the bigger program is called Becoming the Nucleus of Your Own Life.
Mm.
And the boundary setting and getting in touch with that is only one aspect of that. And I'm focusing on that with people first because I work a lot, well, almost exclusively with women in business, around their businesses, writing programs, that kind of thing. And whenever they stumble, whenever they get stuck, 99% of the time we can trace it back to they haven't set a boundary, or they haven't honored a boundary they set.
Okay.
So there's that thing again of going, let's find the cause instead of just putting Band-Aids on it. And it was happening so regularly, so frequently, that I just started doing a lot of work with it. Because if you can get people to do that, that's half the job as far as I'm concerned, for them to becoming the nucleus of their own life, you know.
Yes, because other people aren't pulling them, and they're in their own their own space. Yeah.
So just because it was so prevalent, and I see so much of it every day, and we may not even think of it as not having a boundary, but it is. You know, there's things we dismiss with, oh, it's no big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal because it piles up.
Right. I've had some people that I have talked to, and they wanted me to partner with them in some way. Now, I'm not talking about in healing. I'm talking about, some venture that
Yes.
isn't my core. But because I like them, it's so hard for me to say I don't want to work with you, because it feels personal when you do that. But at the same time, that's my energy, my time.
And you don't have to say it that way. You can make it less personal. It can be like, you just said it beautifully, by the way, which is, it's not my gift. It's not my core. And I just don't think it would serve either one of us to be in this relationship.
Mm.
And you just said it in a way that, and there's always somebody that can take it personal, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So it sounds to me like you know about all this boundary stuff too.
Well, it's been a core thing growing up with a narcissistic mother, that I had to learn as an adult to set my boundaries with her, with other people, because as a pastor's wife, I wasn't allowed to have boundaries either.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it gets reinforced and reinforced and reinforced.
Yes.
And you just get to a point where, all right, no, I'm done. Here it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can come at it from a frustrated, angry point, and that doesn't help set the boundaries, right? So it's about working through that, but then getting to that place where you're such a role model for that, with just what you're saying. It's not supporting my business. It's not my gift. And you're honoring yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes across as a more gentle thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
It just works better.
Yes, absolutely. This is so appropriate because I've been through in the last 2 weeks a shift in my own business model pertaining to that. Isn't that amazing?
I did that. I did a shift about 3 months ago in my business model, and it was all about shifting and changing a boundary. And you did it, what, just 3 weeks ago?
Just 2 weeks ago, and even right now, I've still been talking to some people about making some adjustments and what's happening. It's like we get off track, and then we have to course correct, and then we have to course correct, and it's not a one-time thing. You just constantly have to, because I'm creative. I get inspired. Like, oh, that's exciting, and then I get into it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm spending a full day a week on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to keep checking, or I think we do. All right, is this really what I want? What is that coming from my core? That's that nucleus thing.
Right.
And then the other thing is once you set a boundary, it's not like, okay, all done, everybody's going to honor them now. It doesn't work that way. And then it's about keeping yourself on task.
Yes, exactly. Because I find the biggest person that pushes my boundaries is me.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of truth in that one, yeah. And here's the thing, that's where other people then don't honor them either. What I say is, when you honor your own boundaries, no one else really has a choice.
Yes.
They either honor the boundary or have the consequences, whatever that is. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but if I say my boundaries, I'm not going to answer my office phone after 5 o'clock at night, and I honor that, they're not talking to me, right?
Yes, right.
I break that boundary. That's not on them. That's on me. So.
Right. This reminds me of a little story. Is it okay if I share a little story?
Oh yes, please.
I lived in the Caribbean for 14 years, and this was back in the pastor's wife missionary days. And there was a woman. There was a friend who lived in the Caribbean. She had a friend that lived in Canada, and she just wanted that friend to visit, and the friend would fly all the way to the Caribbean, take 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of her schedule to come to the Caribbean. It was getting a little bit much. There was the expense, there was the time. She'd always go back to a backlog of work, as well as, vacation days or whatever she was using. And she shared that she just didn't want to do it anymore. It was getting to be too much for her. And so when she wanted to explain to the person living in the Caribbean, I can't do this anymore. Why don't you come to Canada? And she said that all the internal struggle that she was having, I want my friend to be happy. I know she misses me. I've been doing this for years. I don't want to disappoint her. And her friend said, no, not coming. So there you have somebody with a boundary, and her friend didn't have any internal angst. She didn't even explain herself. She just said, no, I'm not going. And that person, that struggling person who was having trouble with boundaries, she said, you know, I got a real good lesson in when you set a boundary, you just set it. You just tell what you want. You don't have to explain yourself.
What's that quote? It's who's it? I think it's Anne somebody. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And sometimes there may be times when you want to talk about it and come to an agreement or something, but that's not all that. Some like no is a complete sentence.
Right.
Just do it. I'm curious if the friendship lasted.
It was strained. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you just do it.
Yes, but think of the relief of that woman who was doing all that travel.
Oh, I know.
Think of the relief that and the energy she pulled back from all these places she was scattering it and bringing it back. Yeah. Sometimes, and this is hard. I'm not saying anything I haven't done myself. It's hard sometimes, but releasing those people is some of the best thing you'll ever do for yourself.
And quite frankly, for them.
And for them, yeah.
And they may not get it in the moment or ever for that moment, for that matter. But yeah, it just frees up so much of you and brings it back. Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
And it's hard to do sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes. And then when I'll do some of the work, the deeper work that, let's get to the bottom of this.
Right.
Because it does make it easier. It doesn't mean you don't have to practice. It does make it easier.
Right. Why do I feel obligated to drive 12 hours for Thanksgiving dinner every year? Why do I feel like I have to do that? Those kind of questions. For me, one of my biggest ones was, why do I want to cook Thanksgiving dinner for my 7 children, their spouses, and the grandchildren? Why do I do that to myself?
Exactly.
To put myself in that place. And I had to say, I'm not doing it anymore. My children have wonderful homes. They've got beautiful spaces. Why did I think I had to? And immediately the next year, one of my sons, his wife, they had a beautiful day. Beautiful. And I went over and I had a wonderful time. And I wasn't exhausted and resentful. And
I hear you.
Yeah.
Those are the great ones. And what I deal a lot with in my practice is when the response to someone setting a boundary doesn't go so well. Like having all your children being really upset with you.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So there's that side of it too. And that's, I think, when we need to be there to support people in their new boundary.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's when it's not even agreeable to the other person, or the person isn't even willing to listen to it, makes it harder.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And that's when all the old stuff comes up from kids even. Well, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
You were like me and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I know. And as a mother, you just want everybody to be happy. You don't want to make any waves. And, I'm talking to a lot of women today. We're all in this boat together, especially those of us over 50, because I find that those of us from the traditional generation have been so programmed to do this kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it was the environment we grew up in, just in society, right? So
yes.
It was like in the late 40s and early 50s for me. And then you were the pastor's life. I was brought up in 13 years of Catholic school, pre-Vatican II. So all of that. It's all that coming together. And it was never intentional, I'm sure. But you just didn't buck up against family or church or school or anything.
Right.
And it takes a lot of energy to get past that.
It sure does. It takes a lot of deep work.
Right? Yeah, it's worth it.
Oh, it's so worth it. Now I just am feeling so liberated, so free, so full of myself, which I mean in a good way.
I love that. I love that phrase, full of myself. Because
Yeah.
I so get it. When I start talking about being the nucleus of your own life, people say, oh, you want me to be selfish? No. You want me to be self-centered? No. I want you to be full of yourself and make decisions and teach from it. I love that you use that phrase.
Yes, I have a meditation on YouTube. It's called the 5-phase meditation, and it's talking about mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, bringing yourself into calm and focus, just that calm space. And I started doing that every morning, you know, the 5 different parts of ourselves. But one of the things that just triggered this memory of, and that is when you fill your heart with love, which we did the heart space meditation at the beginning of the show today. When you fill yourself with love, you have enough to spill over to others. And this came to me so strongly this week because I have a son who's chronically ill. And when I was thinking about him during the meditation, you know, my heart was full of love and I thought of him. And I realized that my worry wasn't giving him love. It was actually draining.
Yes.
But when I filled with love, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And we can't do that while we are scattered and.
I love that, Lana. I love that. I've never heard it put that way before. I'm probably going to borrow from you on that.
Please do. Please do. That came to me while I was recording the meditation. It actually was like a download. Yeah.
It's like, I always say you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah.
And you're saying the same thing, but in a much more beautiful way. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. I just feel like we're having this beautiful, beautiful time together. I'm going to take just a moment to make a couple of announcements. I have a book on Amazon. It's called Never Date a Narcissist Again. It's on Kindle. It's $2.99. I mean, it's so available. It's a checklist of why we attract narcissists. My mother was a narcissist. I married one for 30 years. I was inundated. And after my divorce, I thought, okay, are you kidding? Every man I dated, my landlords, my bosses, even I had coaches who were narcissists. They were browbeating me. And I'm like, wait a minute, this has got to stop. What am I doing? Because this was a pattern. And in my own, you know, my growth, I realized I'm creating my world. And what am I doing? I didn't understand what I was doing. I finally figured it out. I went in, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of soul searching. I figured out why I was attracting all these narcissists. I made it into a checklist. I made a list of what to do to stop it without confronting them. And I made it into this little ebook. It's on Amazon. Go get it. It's called Never Date a Narcissist Again. And you can use that for anybody. It's not just for somebody that you date. But yeah, totally available over there. If you haven't done so yet, join our Facebook group. It's called nowitsmyturn.com. Just put that in. It'll go right into the group. And that's where we are all week. We have a group of women over there. It's beautiful. We put stuff up for each other. It's amazing. So nowitsmyturn.com. And then my daughter and I are creating we have a collective healing. We're calling it the Collective Healing Channel. It's a group healing meditation that we do once a month. And it is small groups only. And in that time, we join our energies together and we get wonderful healing for each other. So if you go to lanamcara.com and click on the tab above that says collective, you'll go over there to the page and you'll see all the details about when it is and so forth. So lanamcara.com, click the tab collective. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you're doing in the world, because you are active in a lot of different things. Where is your contribution at the moment?
Primarily with women and primarily women over 50, and as many times over 60, helping them learn and integrate what we've been talking about. the way they come in my front door or my business door is usually through their business. You know, I've got one program called the 80-hour work week cure. And it's that, you know how we are when we're first entrepreneurs, we do everything, and these women just keep on doing it 20 years later, talk about no boundaries, right?
Right.
So it's all around that. Again, it's all around that being the nucleus of your own life, but it's primarily with women through their businesses. And then once we get some things settled there, the next part is really exciting because I help them build programs that they go out and do the kind of things that we're doing. So it's like when they get this stuff, when they understand it and can integrate who they really are, they come out with this amazing stuff.
Wow.
That they go out and share with the world. That's what I love. I feel like we're multiplying. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Wow.
And one of the places I start a lot with them is on the boundaries, but there's a lot more to it than that. But that's such a key. And nothing makes me light up more than when they go, I have an idea, and here's what we do it, and we take them out there with it.
Yeah. Wow. You know, I hadn't really thought of it before, but the boundary topic, that issue, really is what allows you to expand out. If you don't have boundaries, you don't have space.
Well, not only that, you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
you don't feel safe. And you've got to, in order to, I'm a bit of a renegade. So some of the things I say, I need to feel safe that I can stand up for myself and stand in my boundary. But so do our ladies on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Have that as well.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a deep dive, you know, if you really start going into it. It's in fact, I do a whole 8-week course where it's just boundaries and it's a group, but it's also has enough space and room in it that we do actual coaching and help them walk through some of that stuff, you know, in real time.
Yes, yes. That's root chakra work.
Yeah.
Baseline work. Yeah.
And you need a guide for that.
Yes, absolutely.
That can get really scary.
Mm-hmm.
Really scary.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff starts coming up. But the beautiful part of it is when you're in a group supported together, it's so wonderful. Yeah.
So there's content and the group is small. I keep it at 8 or less for an hour and a half. I like getting in there and working with people's stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because when they come out the other side, oh, it's so much fun. Well, you know, you do the same thing. And you know, what I'll tell people is you can read a lot of information on boundaries. You can do check sheets. You can do all of that. And you're going to have really great information. But when it comes time to walk through it, it's probably, you know, a whole lot easier to not be a lone ranger.
Absolutely, because we're in that lens.
Yes.
And we can't see anything else.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So that's one big portion of it. And then another portion is there's a whole thing on feeling. Because when you're doing this boundary work, you have all kinds of feelings come up. And a lot of people don't know, a lot of the women I've worked with have been taught not only not to have boundaries, but don't ever express your feelings. Squish them down, right? Okay, you get that. I don't have to say anymore.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You're not supposed to express because women don't express. We smile and nod. Not.
As I smile and nod.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that's right. Wow. So how do people access that what you're talking about right now? Where is the link for that?
You can go to pathoniotes.com /boundaries/.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to put that in the description box below as well.
That'd be great. Thank you.
And I really encourage everyone to go over and take a look because this is good stuff. I can tell you that is life-changing material, and to have that kind of support is really valuable.
And to put just another ingredient in that, we have a good time. Here's my thinking is, I'm 73 years old. If it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. Okay? And this is, you can get into some serious stuff, but it's also around, let's have some fun. Let's look at it more lightly. And it doesn't mean we're not taking the subject seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a way to do it in which it can be lighter and works better too.
Right.
And I think I can tell that I think you and I like to have fun then.
We do. We do. I always say it doesn't have to be that hard.
Exactly. Exactly. And I always say, lighten up. It's just life. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah, so wonderful. Well, your website is, just say it out. I'm going to put it in the description, but go ahead.
It's pathoniotes.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're specifically interested in the boundaries, it's pathoniotes.com/boundaries/.
Awesome. Pat, what a wonderful show. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. This was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been amazing. And thank you everyone for coming. Be sure to hit the like. It'll help the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye.